oxygen figures 923 and I'm going to conduct your speaking test. Okay. So first of all, to help you settle down, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Can you first tell me your full official name?
My full official name is Ielts, as it is written in my passport. But if you don't mind, I'd like you to call me Yusha.
Okay, Mr. Yusha, where are you from?
I am from Bangladesh. I was born here on February 12, 1997. I actually lived here for 4 years, and then I moved to New Zealand, where I remained until early 2010, where I had to move back to Bangladesh.
Right. Do you live in a house or in an apartment?
I actually live in an apartment. We live on the 3rd floor, but the total apartment, the actual thing itself has about 8 floors. And our apartment is a combination of 2 separate ones.
Right. Do you like the neighborhood you live in?
I'd say it's fairly quiet and enjoyable. Yes, I like it because it's on a hill. You can walk around during the evening. It's quite peaceful.
Do you want to make any changes to your neighborhood?
If possible, yes. One thing I like to change is actually in front of our house there's this large garbage dump, and when the truck comes to pick it up, the smell can get quite nasty. So if possible, I'd like to move it away from the residential area.
Great. Let's talk about your cooking place. Can you tell me something about the cooking space you have?
The cooking space?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my mom told me not to go in the kitchen very often because our housekeeper's in there. And in our culture, the boys or the males of the house aren't supposed to go front that much. So I haven't had much experience in the kitchen myself, but in the times I have seen it, my mother is very strict about keeping it clean. So whenever there's a housekeeper who doesn't do that, she gets very angry. So as far as the organization goes, it's pretty well organized. All the plates and all the frying pans and everything are kept pretty clean. Right beside the door is actually the saucer, and it's a gas stove actually. And beside that, perpendicular to the gas stove is actually the sink. So you can easily take off the dishes from the saucer right to the sink.
Right. Who does the cooking in your household?
Most of the time it's the house workers. And when my grandmother lived here, she used to live in the USA now, but when she used to live in Bangladesh with us, the joint family, she did cooking half the time. But now it's mostly up to the house workers and the maids. But my mom also occasionally cooks.
How do you try and stay healthy with your food choices?
Well, the thing is, in Bangladesh, I realized that if you have a lot of rice, you get fat very fast. So when I'm taking exams, my mother likes to give me lots of food so that I don't fall asleep when I'm studying. So and then I usually consume a lot of proteins and a lot of rice. However, when it's normal, like a normal part of the year where I don't need to worry about exams or such, I only consume usually like about a handful of rice and a lot of proteins, such as meat, chicken, or beef.
Do you like the experience of eating out at a restaurant?
If it's with my family, by that I mean my mother and my sister, sure. It's a great experience and we get to connect together as family.
Do you prefer eating at a restaurant or eating at a friend's house?
I prefer eating at a restaurant because when we do is most often, like I said, with my family. However, if you go to like a friend's house, there's certain like etiquette you have to follow, and you feel kind of pressured if you do something wrong in front of your friends because they can make fun of you for it.
What are some of the merits and demerits of eating at a restaurant?
The merits of eating at a restaurant is you get to try different types of cuisine, which is not the norm because when you live in your house, you get kind of acclimatized to the food that you eat, and it becomes kind of bland after a while. But when you eat at a restaurant, this food's much more piquant and it's more exotic. However, the demerits of eating at a restaurant is in Bangladesh, it's quite a risk eating at a restaurant because you can get sick quite easily. For example, only about 5 or 6 days ago, I ate from a place called Sadia's Kitchen from this party I went to, and I got sick for 2 days. I couldn't even sit down and take a test.
Right. What are the attitudes towards tipping in a restaurant in your country?
Tipping is generally seen as a good thing in our country, and if the waiter was well mannered and he did what his job was, what he was supposed to do in his job, we usually give him around 100 to 200 if he's feeling especially generous. But usually anything over 100 is quite unusual. 100 counts.
Let's talk about hotels. Do you like to stay in hotels?
I haven't stayed in a hotel for quite a long time, but usually yes, I do. It's quite nice because they're usually clean. They often have a good cable service, and often if it's a good hotel, you get some free internet as well.
Can you describe the best hotel you have ever stayed in?
The best hotel I've ever stayed in was probably this hotel in Bangkok called the Ambassador. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 stars, but it was very fancy, very elegant in how they set up everything.
Can you describe the best? Okay. What are some of the merits and demerits of staying at a hotel?
The merits of staying in a hotel is kind of similar to a restaurant, whereas it's a new experience, and you get to stay in somewhere where you're not quite familiar with. So it's kind of refreshing, and usually hotels are very clean. So if your house is kind of unorganized, then staying in a hotel is a very refreshing change. But the demerits of it is when some cleaners come, sometimes if they're dishonest people, they lack some integrity, they might steal your belongings. So it's quite important to lock your bags and such, or hide away important things.
Okay. Do you think that hotels are overpriced?
It depends on where you're staying at. If, for example, they built the Radisson in Chittagong only a few months ago, and for the pricing, if you're a person who lives in Bangladesh, it's extremely expensive for one night. However, I actually thought about what if I'm coming from the U.S. So if I converted the pricing, which is about I think 100 to 250 US dollars per night, and I'm planning to stay at a 5-star hotel, and I'm an American and I can afford it, and that's pretty cheap considering when you compare prices to other places. But if you're in Bangladesh, then the price is going to be quite steep given our culture and the economy here.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to give you a card. On the card you'll find a topic. You'll also find some guiding questions. Based on that, you have to prepare a talk for 1 minute, and you have 1 minute time to take notes. Here is the topic, and here's a piece of paper to take notes, and you can use the pencil. You have 1 minute time. Would you like to start now?
Sure. The airport where I actually spent quite some time was the airport of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This was in very early 2010, around January, right after New Year's, I believe. No, actually, January 5th. We were traveling from New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, to Chittagong, Dhaka, Bangladesh. And then I'll take another connecting domestic flight to Chittagong. And the reason why we were actually moving then was after my parents got divorced, we stayed in New Zealand for 1 year, but then due to some decisions by my parents and